Beautiful morning, my dear children. Welcome back to our social class. So, children, we have completed chapter number 6 in geography. So, today we're going to start chapter number 7 in history. So, it is about rise of kingdoms and republics. Shall we start the chapter? So, children, let's start with the get set exercise given in page number 59. So, look at the map in page number 16. Write the modern names of the following. First one, Pataliputra, and hint is given for us. It is the present capital of Bihar. So, what is the capital of Bihar? Very good, Patna. Okay. Second one, Kashi. It is a holy city in modern Uttar Pradesh. Yes. What is the present name now? Yes, it is Varanasi. Third one, Prayag. It is the ancestral home of Jawaharlal Nehru in this city. Yes, it is Allahabad. Next is Brigukatha. It is a large seaport in Gujarat. So what name it is? It is Bharuch. Bharuch. And fifth one, Pratistana. It is a small city in Maharashtra famous for Paithani sarees. It is Paithan. Okay, Paithan. So, in the later Vedic period, iron began to be used on a much larger scale. Okay, so the thick forest of the Ganga plains. So, where do we have the Ganga plains? Yes, to the south of the Himalayas, we have the Indo-Gangetic plains where the river Ganga and Yamuna flows. So, since the always river flows throughout the year, water is there in the river throughout the year, the land was very much fertile, and that led to the growth of many number of trees there. Okay, and the Ganga plains are not allowed for the expansion in the region because of the thick forest. But now the people, with the help of the iron tools, they cleared the forest, and later it began as bigger settlements developed here. Okay, and the small tribes means group of people, okay, of the earlier period gave way to large kingdoms. So and the kingdoms and the territories were called as Janapadas. Okay, children. So the word Janapada literally means the place where people put their feet. And the period from 600 BCE to 400 BCE saw the formation of many such groups or settlements. They were called as many Janapadas, and the larger and the more powerful among them were called as Mahajanapadas. Maha means what? Big. Okay, so they were called as Mahajanapadas. So next we are going to learn about Mahajanapadas. So where do we find about these Mahajanapadas and which text? Yes, we find it in the Vedic, Buddhist and the Jain texts. And they inform us that there were 16 Mahajanapadas in the Ganga Valley during the 6th century BCE. Okay, and the Mahajanapadas were of two types, republics and the monarchies. Republic means what? Independent. Monarchy means only king will be there, he will be taking all the decisions. Okay, that's all. So the Shakyas and the Lichavis were the important republics, and about monarchical Janapada, they were ruled only by the king, and the king was very powerful, as I told you, and he had a large and a powerful army, and kingship here was hereditary. So after the king, his son, after his son, the grandson, like that it continued. And Magadha, Kosala, Vatsa and Avanti were some important monarchies of this period. So next we are going to know about the kingdom of Magadha. So the republics and the monarchies existed side by side, and the Mahajanapadas were constantly at war with one another. Okay, for territory and control over the rivers. And in the end, it was Magadha which defeated the others and emerged as the most superful Mahajanapada. So what were the factors which contribute towards that? Yes, Magadha was located in the Gangetic basin where the soil was very fertile and yielded good harvests, as I told you earlier. And so the land revenue was high. It was provided a large income for the kingdom. And this enabled the rulers to maintain a large army. And the thick forest supplied timber, and the elephants. Timber was used to build houses, forts, and chariots, and elephants were used in the army. And Maratha had a large deposits of copper and iron ore, so they were used to make agricultural implements, tools, and weapons. And they enjoyed a very favorable geographical location, and the old capital was Rajagriha, was surrounded by hills on all sides, and the new capital was Pataliputra. So this is an important question. 1 mark you will be getting. Okay, so they were natural barriers against any attack in the kingdom. And Magadha had a flourishing trade with the other regions, and the profits from trade helped Magadha to maintain a large army. And it was ruled by a very powerful kings such as Bimbisara, Ajatashatru, and Mahapadmananda, who constantly expanded their territories. So next we have Bimbisara 542 to 493 BC. So the first important ruler of Mahatha was Bimbisara. So he made Rajagriha his capital, and he expanded the kingdom by conquest and by marrying the princes of powerful kingdoms such as Kosala, Vaishali, and Madra. So he conquered Anga, which had a river port called Champa. So it was an important center of trade and commerce. So all these names we have to underline, have to learn. Okay, children. So who was the important ruler of Magadha? Yes, it is Bimbisara. So next we have Aditya Shatru 493 to 461 BC. So Bimbisara was succeeded by his son Aditya Shatru. So like his father, he too followed a policy of conquest and expansion. So he defeated the king of Kosala and occupied Kasi. So under Aditya Shatru, Magadha grew even more powerful than before. So next is period from 461 to 364 BC. So Ajatashatru was succeeded by the weak rulers, and in 413 BC Shishunga became the ruler of Magadha. So he and his successors ruled for about 50 years, and they were overthrown by the Nandas. So next we are going to see about the Nandas 364 to 321 BC. So the Nandas was led by the Mahapadmananda, established a large empire. So however, we do not know much about the Mahapadmananda and his successors. And the last ruler was Dhanananda. So he was a very unpopular among his people, and Chandragupta Maurya overthrew Dhanananda and conquered Magadha and established the Mauryan dynasty. So it was the end of the Nanda rulers. Yes, next is invasion of Alexander. So Alexander became the king of Macedonia in Greece in 336 BC. So he set out to establish the largest empire the world had ever seen. So after conquering Asia Minor, that is Turkey, Syria, Egypt, and the Persian Empire, Alexander set his eyes on India. So Alexander invaded India in 326 BC, and at this time the northwestern India was divided into many independent kingdoms who were constantly at war with one another. So Alexander defeated them easily. So a king named Porus, who ruled the region between the Jhelum and the Chenab rivers, resisted his advance, and Alexander defeated Porus and then moved eastward to conquer Magadha. So Alexander wanted to go further, but his soldiers refused, and they were tired, homesick, and unwilling to face the powerful Magadhan army. So Alexander had no choice but to come back, retreat. So he divided the territories he had conquered in India into three parts and put under the control of a general. So Alexander then returned to his homeland. So however, he never reached Macedonia again, and he died in Babylon in the year 323 BCE. So after his death, the infighting broke out among the Greek generals in India, and Chandragupta Maurya defeated the warring Greek generals and made Maurya as the supreme power in India. Yes, next we're going to learn about the impact of Alexander's invasion. So the first time in Europe came in close contact with India. Okay, then four different trade routes opened up between Europe and India, and this promoted trade relations between the two. And the Greek historians provided the details of Alexander's campaign in India, including the date of various events. And this has helped in establishing the definite dates for the subsequent events. And the Greeks also wrote about the social and economic conditions prevailing in India. And Alexander's invasion weakened the small kingdoms in the northwestern India, and this helped Chandragupta Maurya to lay the foundation of the Mauryan dynasty. And the cultural contact between the Greeks and the Indians gave birth to a new school of art called the Gangadhara School of Art. Okay, So these are some important points that you can take down. Rise of Chandragupta Maurya, contribution in the construction of history, change in warfare strategy, new routes open for trade and communication, impact in the field of art. Yes, as I told, evolution of Gangadhar School of Art, influence of language, literature, astrology, and medicine. And the Indians learned the art of making coins from the Greeks. And the mutual contact between the Indians and the Greek culture was there. So these are all the impact of Alexander's invasion in India. And the last topic is about Chandragupta Maurya. So, according to some sources, Chandragupta Maurya belonged to a tribe called the Mauryas. So, he grew up among the cowherds and the hunters. Chanakya, a learned Brahmin, spotted Chandragupta leading a group of children in a game, and Chanakya saw seeds of future greatness in Chandragupta. So, Chanakya took Chandragupta with him to Takshila. So, there he trained him in martial skills such as wrestling and swordsmanship. Okay, and finally, with Chanakya's help, Chandragupta overthrew the Nandas and conquered Magadha. Okay, in the next lesson, we'll be learning it in detail. So, children, we can continue all the other things in a class. Okay, so complete your classwork neatly with legible handwriting. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.